We're live. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. I see some familiar faces, people coming through. It is 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night. What
Ooh.
is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 656, if you can believe it. Sitting next to me virtually is the lovely and talented Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. There's no one I would rather sit next to virtually than you.
I know. Next week we're going to be live together, I think you said,
Oh,
right? Are you coming in
yes, we
studio?
are. It's not gonna be virtual. It's gonna be live in studio and in living color.
Exactly. And on that note, we should just mention we have a special guest going to join us virtually. While Kodi will be in studio with me, we have the one and only. If you listen to episode 655, I was talking about a brand new book by a former guest of ours, David Wickman. He's on his second book. The new book is so good, called The Four Rooms. It's
Wow.
available now. If you want to just get it, and that way you're ready for next week's Tags Live. We will be discussing it. The Four Rooms, so good. He is a sex worker, and he breaks down. It's called An Inquiry on Sexual Freedom and Well-Being. It is so good. I'm learning so much. I'm
Wow.
doing many of the exercises that are in this book. It's great. But he will be our guest next Wednesday on Tags Live. But go ahead and try and get the book in advance if you can, called The Four Rooms by David Wickman. I'll post it on Tags Podcast. I mentioned it's Wednesday night. Happy Hump Day. Kodi's drinking a White Claw. Oh my goodness.
We should get them as an advertiser because
Uh,
as much as
yeah.
I drink it on here, yeah, I should have got a glass because no free advertising, darling.
Okay. Well, we talked so much about White Lotus on episode 655, the wrap up, because I think everybody was so excited. And I didn't really realize it, Kodi, until today when I saw Jason Isaacs. And, Jason Isaacs plays the dad married to the one and only um,
Parker
Parker
Posey.
Posey, and he was on a morning show this morning, just kind of talking about the wrap up. He is a British actor that's been around for days. The one thing that he said about filming this, he doesn't know that he's ever been part of a cast that and a show. They filmed for 7 months in Thailand,
Oh wow.
but beyond all of that, he has never been a part of a film, a show, a play that has been part of the zeitgeist of the common vernacular of that period of time. And
Oh,
what
okay.
what I realized that we didn't mention on 655 is that is so true. What we failed to mention, and what I think White Lotus taps into, is that he said this too, it felt like everybody was talking about White Lotus. And I feel like everybody was. From my, I do a lot of research for this show. I look up not only LGBTQ articles, but I'm always on the news. I've got it going on all day long. And White Lotus has been part of our vernacular, part of the zeitgeist, more than any other show in a long time. And,
Hmm.
if you think about shows that have had an impact over the years, I mean, The Sopranos, or what's some of those other shows that have had, like HBO shows that are kind of futuristic, that have had that kind of impact, that the gladiator type shows that have had.
Dune? I don't know.
No, well, there's a lot of I guess my point being is, before trying to get stuck in a hole here, is
What was
that
it? Yeah.
White Lotus really was part of the zeitgeist and has been, and he's right. And what I think is so brilliant about it is, and he said this too, Jason Isaacs, is that while there's so much going on in the world right now, this was our one thing that we can tune in for 8 weeks and just get into this storyline, no matter what was going on in the world. And believe me, there's been a lot going on in the world. And that has been unnoticed. And I think we need to just really toot that horn on how brilliant Mike White is on developing a show that wasn't just, I mean, the LGBTQ press has been going nuts, but it's been, I could almost talk to anybody and everybody knew like about this show.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful and so amazing. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I just Googled it, and Breaking Bad is one of them. Game of Thrones is one of them. Twin
Game of Thrones
Peaks,
is the
it
one I was
says.
thinking of. But you
Okay,
know
all
what?
right.
Those are pretty specific that, like, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, and you had to have been sort of in, like, Diego, my fiance, I think is a I'm pretty sure he's a Game of Thrones. Put it in the comment section, Diego. But there's been some shows that you have to kind of be in that mindset. I wasn't, but I feel like White Lotus and what Jason, it really was part of this current that everybody, it felt like
Everybody.
everybody, and
Yeah,
not just in America, everybody was watching it. And that's
I agree.
amazing.
It's very powerful. I agree with you 100%. And you have to realize that this is coming from a man who was in Harry Potter, and Harry Potter was everywhere. So for
Yeah.
him to be saying that it's been a long time since a show that everybody watched is very, very powerful. So I agree. I
Yes.
think that this is something that a lot of people were talking about. And I think that that's what made me watch it, really, because I was like, let me go see what everybody
Yeah.
is talking about. Because I don't think I was that excited about it before, but it really got me excited to have all of these people be in the conversation with me. So I really enjoyed White Lotus, and I'm glad it's bringing people together in this divisive time.
I want to remind everybody that we're live, and Bryce reminding us that we're live says it's zeitgeist. And you're right. I've said it. I don't know why tonight I was saying
I was
it
like, did he
differently.
say it right?
I think I was saying zeitgeist, and
Oh,
I think I'm so excited about this. Like, we're carrying on about this, but you're right. It is zeitgeist, and thank you. But it's a good reminder that we're live. Well, one of the things that people were talking about, Mike White, who wrote, is the showrunner for White Lotus, who, by the way, there's going to be a season 4, which I'm so excited about. A lot of people were coming for him, and he was on a recent podcast, and they were criticizing White Lotus for this particular season for being a little bit too slow. If you remember some of those early episodes, some people felt it was a little bit slower, and he clapped back. And I love his clap back, Kodi, because he says, "Don't be a bossy bottom, I'm edging you." And boy, did he edge us to a perfect climax, Kodi.
mm,
I love Mike White. And before we get into his clap back and whether or not you thought it was slow or not, I
okay.
want to remind people before season 4 comes out, my sister and I have been a huge Mike White fan. Before all of this White Lotus stuff came about,
Okay.
there is a show that you can watch right now on HBO. It's with my favorite Laura Dern, and it's called Enlightened. And
Oh, I saw that.
there's 2 seasons of it. Before Mike White became Mike White, he's done other stuff, but he did this
Yeah,
show, this little show that could, Kodi, I think you're going to love it because
I want to
it's
see it.
not comebacky, but it's like that show that people missed under the radar. But when you talk to people that actually watched it, you're like, oh my God, I loved Enlightened. It is so good. And come on, Laura Dern.
Love her.
And I encourage
Is it comedic?
everybody. So basically, it's about the workforce, and Laura Dern works for this company. Think of a company in California, but not in LA, but Orange County, Riverside.
Okay.
And she has a decent job, but she is sleeping with the boss. And
Mm,
that's how the whole show premise starts. And he's already married, and it goes awry. And she loses it, literally loses it, and threatens him. But the company can't fire her because it's all about HR. The show's really about human resources and how you can manipulate the system. And ultimately she goes away to Hawaii, which we don't really see, but she comes back and she is enlightened. And it
Oh, okay.
starts from
I was like,
that.
where's the name come from?
Episode 2 to the rest of the seasons are all about her being enlightened. And is she
I love the air
enlightened? Is
quotes.
she not enlightened?
I'm
I
guessing
her name
not.
is she's Amy. Her name is Amy, and I relate to Amy. I'm very Amy at times. I very much her character, and I love it. So I just like in the interim before we get season 4, if you love his writing, watch Enlightened. I just want to put that out there. It's one of my sisters and my favorite shows. But what do you think
Perfect.
about what Mike White is pushing back on?
No, I love it. I'm with him. So me being the bossy top that I am, just want to get right to it and just pound the town away. But you know what? Experience and differentiating things and making sure that you are having different experiences with different people is all part of the game. So I understand what he's saying. The the edge can be part of the sensualness that it happens with sex, and it can also apply to television shows as well. So let him edge you, let him get in there and drag it out maybe a little bit in the first round, and then get to town by the end. As long as you get there, right?
Yeah, I mean, this show is so satisfying, and to defend the show and his pacing. And by the way, I think he's brilliant. He was every season doesn't need to be the same thing. I remember when this season first started out, I was talking at the beginning of the year, I was talking to my Diego and his friend, and they were so upset that, oh my gosh, what's her name that wasn't a part of this season? She was killed off in season 2,
Jennifer
and every
Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge. Everybody loved Jennifer Coolidge. I love Jennifer Coolidge. And
Yeah,
I
she's amazing.
remember my boyfriend's fiance's friend saying, "Oh, it's not going to be the same." And even Diego said the same thing. It's not going to be. And it's like people move on. Yes, I'm a huge Jennifer Coolidge fan. She was on 2 seasons, but like we got Parker Posey, and so I'm never one to hold it to, well, we had this person and she was one character and there were so many others in the season 1 and 2. I'm willing to go along a journey of a writer to move on to a new storyline, and I think it ultimately delivered. I would also say that Thailand, I've been there before, is they didn't mention this, and we were talking about this on the last episode with Lincoln, that there, when it's super hot and humid like it is in Thailand, there is a
Mhm.
sultriness to it. There is a slow, people talk a little bit slower. You're preserving your energy. I think that paralleled into the whole storyline of season 3. And so never underestimate the power
A
of a new
slow burn.
season, new characters, and yeah, so I'm excited for it, and yeah. And in the meantime, watch Enlightened if
I'm
you
gonna
are
watch it.
missing. Yeah, oh my God, it's amazing. One of my
Well, I love
favorite,
Laura
Amy.
Dern,
Come
and
on now.
I'm all about being enlightened as well.
Be enlightened. We just wanted to mention because we thought that this was kind of cool. I don't know if you think it's cool, Kodi, but in Vegas right now is the Sphere. And I remember going to Vegas for a podcast conference and seeing the Sphere when it was being constructed, and then going back again for the Madonna concert a year ago, and it was in full effect. U2's played there, so many other people have played there, and they're really doing some really cool things. Well, right now, we wanted to mention, because The Wizard of Oz is kind of an LGBTQ classic for many of
Mhm.
us, we'll be using AI and advanced computing to reimagine the 1939 classic. And the picture alone in the Sphere looks pretty amazing. And it will open on August 28th. And I'm kind of excited to kind of see this. I'm just think it would be really cool. They're going to bring in some really cool features, but I think it's going to come to life on that. And while you can still enjoy the original movie on your own TV screen, I think this is using AI and the Sphere in a good way and bringing back the wonderful Wizard of Oz. What do you say to it?
I love The Wizard of Oz. It's my favorite favorite movie growing up, and I'm excited about it coming back in this way, in such a interactive and just all-encompassing, well, five senses type of way. And but the only thing for me is the AI is kind of throwing me off. I'm not all the way on board with AI. There was a comment on Twitter that said, "Why couldn't they get the original artists to actually do it?" And I was like, and all the responses were like, "Well, they're dead, so
Right?
right." So,
Yeah.
but I think there is a way to actually get to it without using AI. Maybe find some new artists that are aligned with what the vision was back then, or just get creative, basically. And I feel like AI has become like a crutch, basically. And there's so much creativity out there in the world. And why are we relying on this when we have such human creativity out there, when we should be fostering and trying to build up our own creativity as a culture?
Right, but when the sphere is already in existence and doing well, what's your problem with having it being like displayed and using some new technology to introduce to a whole new audience in this format? Because the reality is, we know many people will not, young kids won't watch The Wizard of Oz because it's just too
Hmm.
old, sadly. But I mean, there's a lot of people that I know don't watch classics that are younger than me. I grew up watching the classics because my parents watched the
Yeah,
classics.
force them.
TCM is one of my favorite channels, but I think if this can introduce it to a whole new world, why not? And if it's done in the sphere, I'm here for it.
Look, I'm down for it as long as we use actual human creatives to make sure that the vision is as expansive as it could be. The AI can only go so far, really. They're
But
just it's
mostly it's going to be the movie. It's just they're adding a few things, but what it's
why
going
couldn't
to
they
feel
have
larger. It's going to feel
humans?
like you're in it.
Yeah, I get it. But I don't understand why they couldn't have humans to actually add on to this, because the AI is trained on all these other artists and it doesn't have the creative spark that we as a human beings have. So, I
I
mean,
think they're it, I'm going to get the last word on this one, I think, but I'll
you
give you the
think you
last
are.
word. Yeah, well, I think they're just taking the classic and putting it out there, but adding a few things, but it's going to feel larger than life and it's going to feel like you're in it. But if you want the last word, go ahead.
No, baby, I'm just joking. I was fucking with you. Sorry, bleep that F
Okay.
word out.
That's okay. All right, let's move on because we have so many hot topics to get into. And one of them is the one and only Madonna, my favorite, and Elton John have officially laid down their feud, apparently. And people are questioning, could there be a duet in the future? Well, recently, Elton John was on SNL. He was the musical guest. And Madonna, who lives in New York, decided to go down to SNL to sit in the audience, but she also went backstage to kind of confront Elton John because whether you know or not, Elton over the years has said some pretty nasty things about Madonna. She can't sing, she lip syncs, on and on and on, and has been kind of nasty to her. And
Yeah.
Madonna, over the years, has looked up to Elton John as one of her heroes. One of her other heroes, I'm staring at him right now, is David Bowie, who I love as well. These are the
I thought you
people
were gonna
that
say
she looked
Diego.
up
I was
to.
like, Diego.
No, but maybe, but no, but David Bowie. And she has said in the past that it was really hard. It broke her heart that somebody, imagine looking up to somebody your whole life and then you become famous and they kind of trash you.
Yeah, that would hurt.
And he's done that throughout the years. He just has not thought she was worthy of any of her successes. Well, he has come around. Maybe it's because of some of his health issues. Maybe it's because he does realize she really is talented. And she opened the door up to backstage at SNL, and he said the first things out of his mouth were, "I apologize." And
Oh,
yeah, and he wrote a huge heartfelt thing on his social media, as did she, and the power of forgiveness and confronting it. But what do you think about Madonna confronting him the way she did? And have you ever had somebody that you confronted
oh.
for forgiveness or just said, like, what is this about?
Well, I love this. I love that Madonna initiated it because, some queens, they hold a grudge. And Elton was definitely holding it. So I'm glad that Madonna
It
has
wasn't
the.
even a grudge, though. It wasn't like they got into it ever. It was like he just didn't like her.
I don't understand why. Because I don't know, a person like Elton John to me, he seems like the type of person that can see different types of talent and creativity. And she may not, maybe she does lip sync. Who cares? She has so many other things that are valuable and
She
creative.
sings. I've heard her.
Oh, okay. I have no opinion. I have no horse in that race. So, but I do think that she provides so much value in this world, and to me, it's really it's limiting for Elton John not to be able to recognize that. So for her to go over and try and make peace with him, I think that's fantastic. I think that she is amazing, and I'm glad that he accepted the olive branch from her. So as far as me and me confronting somebody, I have before. It didn't always work out to this because I have an ex best friend, and I have tried to give him an olive branch as far as us reconciling, even though we had a disagreement, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. And I miss him, but I understand that we are parting ways right now. And if he can't understand my perspective on things, then is he really my best friend? And the answer is probably no. So yeah, that's me. How about you? Have you ever had a situation like that?
Yeah, a couple things. There is a friend, a former friend of mine. Actually is a neighbor in this building. We got really close during the
Mm,
pandemic as many of us were getting close to people. And we got close. And then we had a falling out. And then we got close again by his choice. And he, in my opinion, which I think he thought I didn't support him on something when he was going through a
mhm.
breakup, and I was like, I did. I don't understand what you're talking about. And it really wasn't that serious, but he really cut it off, and
Yeah.
I was like, your drama, fine. And I just saw him, but you know what, we live in the same building and he still lives here, and I think I saw him 2 days ago, and I was like, I'm walking in the lobby, he's walking the opposite direction. And I mean, we're at this point, I'm going to say hi to you. Of course. It's,
Yeah.
again, we didn't have a falling out at the tail end of this relationship. He just decided he didn't want to be friends with me. That's fine. So I said hi to him and he gave me sort of like a nod. And I was like, that's fine. But I
Childish.
doesn't matter because I don't want to be friends with him either. But I will jump to a story, and I've told it before on the show. But when we started the show with Jeremy Ross Lopez, we had another host, and it was great. And he was awesome. And if you listen to some of those early shows, it was the three of us. Jeremy Ross Lopez and Steve Carpenter was the third host. The early days, you can imagine it's 656 episodes now. So it was early days, but we were all close and I really loved
Yeah.
this host. Well, we had a falling out and it didn't go over well, and we parted ways. But recently, and by recent I mean last year, I saw him at a bar that we all go to, and I decided enough is enough. We go to this bar on the same night, and I, like Madonna,
I was gonna say,
decided to confront him.
good for
And
you.
but I did it in a way, and I said, "Hey," and I said almost like that. What is up? Like, there's no reason why we can't. We go to the same bar. We go to the same bartender. We come the same night on Sundays. That we cannot move on from this point. And do you know what, Kodi? We actually had
Mhm.
a civil conversation and we did move on. Now, I will say, I've seen him since then and I've talked to him here and there. It will never be the way it was, and that
Yeah.
is fine. But at least by me confronting him like Madonna did with Elton, somebody that I worked with,
Mhm.
somebody that it did move us along a little bit so that now when I see him, it's not so awkward. And I'm glad I did do that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're both Madonna in these situations, so good
Yeah.
for us. It's gonna
Okay.
bode well for our relationship in the future, I feel like, so yay.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, fans of the show Big Brother in the UK, there is a whole controversy going on right now with, I don't know if you guys know Mickey Rourke. And if you,
Who?
Mickey Rourke was kind of a big actor in the 80s. Think 9.5 weeks was one of his big movies, right? He was so hot back in the day.
I don't know. Now
Yeah,
he
I
looks
think it
like
was.
Skeletor.
Oh,
Um,
he looks awful. He's done so much awful plastic surgery, and I can't believe he's still. He is in the house of celebrity Big Brother with none other, many other people, but JoJo Siwa. You can you imagine? She doesn't even know who he was, right? He doesn't know who she is, I'm sure.
yeah,
But tonight's episode in the UK that aired tonight, apparently, Mickey Rourke told JoJo Siwa, basically asked her, like, do you like girls or boys? Which she responded, me, girls. My partner is non-binary, which I'm sure went over his head. And she, of course, is in a relationship with actor and DJ Kath Ebbs. But without missing a beat, he's told her, I can guarantee she said, he says, by if I'm here 4 days, I will make you straight, which is so gross because to think that
that's
anybody would
disgusting.
go, first of all, they couldn't be in different age groups.
I was gonna
I'm
say
sorry. He looks gross, and I can't believe
that's
he's
some Austin Wolf
still
shit.
around. He also threw some other slurs out. He didn't acknowledge that she is. He used the word he needed a fag, and we were just talking about faggotry the other day. But I need a fag. He's not British, by the way. He meant a cigarette. He was looking in JoJo Siwa's direction, and the UK producers of Big Brother called him back and said, you are on notice because you are saying some really inappropriate things. In
Yeah.
which case, he said that he was reamed by the producers and he will try and do better. But do you think that this was really the producers knew all along that this was going to be the case? I mean, how do you put JoJo Siwa and Mickey Rourke and under the same roof? You know you're going to have drama, but
Really?
well, we're talking about it. Many others are
Yeah.
talking about it, but
Oh yeah,
would you? Yeah,
as they should be. Um, I I don't think anybody could have guessed that this would happen. People should have decorum. People should have a sensibility that they have respect for other people and their sexualities, no matter what they are. But I guess Mickey Rourke didn't get that gene, or he grew up in a time where that wasn't readily available to someone like him. So I don't understand it. I think he should have been kicked off. I don't even really fuck with JoJo C. You just got to bleep all these F words out of here tonight. I don't really,
no,
I don't really like. She's okay, but she's can be a lot personally. But she does not deserve to be treated that way. Nobody does. So I think that he should have been kicked off. I think that he should have, because basically that's him saying that he is going to. Turn her or sexually not assault but basically make advancements to her without her wanting them, and that is ridiculous and it's not okay, and I feel like he should not be reprimanded. He should just be kicked off of Big Brother.
I don't think it should be kicked off. I think it's a discussion that they end up having. They showed a little bit more on where it went, where some of the other contestants under the roof of Big Brother were
Danny
saying
Beard.
you can't say some of the stuff. I think whether or not he gets it or not, he's on warning. And I think it's a discussion that ends up transcending to shows like us and across the world where people like Mickey Rourke, who have been under a rock or who knows what they were doing. I told my story recently of talking to a Canadian of all people on the rooftop in Puerto Vallarta who just thought I was a bro. And I quickly told him, mm-mm. And it got a little uncomfortable, but it has to get uncomfortable sometimes. I don't think you should. I didn't say, ultimately, I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore, but I stayed in the conversation enough to make a difference for
Mm,
it. And I
okay.
think he needs to stay in it too. I think we can't just cancel people the minute they say something because if they don't know, they don't know. but this is their chance to learn a little bit, and that's how we grow.
I hear you. I think that for somebody like Mickey Rourke, or even the guy that you were talking to, I think that there needs to be consequences for their actions in order for them to actually learn. Because a slap on the wrist is, I feel like, is not teaching them anything, but that all they have to do is fake their empathy for other people in order for them to,
Well, I think they
make
gave
their
him a
way.
warning because you can't.
Yeah, but
Well, then it goes
a
back
slap on the
to
wrist.
what I was originally saying about the producers. So the producers know what they're doing when they put together this slew of contestants that are from all
Hmm.
walks of life, all age groups. He was speaking his truth on what he thought. This is Mickey Rourke being Mickey Rourke. He didn't probably know that this is wrong. He was put on warning and on blast. It's now being disseminated, and we're talking about it, and the messaging is getting out there. Now, if he continues to make statements like this, I think he should definitely be. But to cancel, we go back to cancel culture. You can't blast everybody like I didn't blast that guy, the Canadian, immediately when he started saying things about transgender, even though I was saying when he started blasting things about, well, I'm okay with gay. I didn't say get out. Like I can't. No, I sat in it because we will never get any point across if we immediately cancel everybody out. That they don't know. You can't get mad at people for people not knowing, for being ignorant, uneducated. You just that's not a way to grow. You have to somehow. I basked in my moment, and it was so uncomfortable, but I allowed for it to happen, and while I don't know that I got through on transgender issues and gay, I did get into him when he said, no one's ever told him that I've never listened. And I said, you're right, because you're not listening to anything I say. You're talking at me. And at least I got through him on that message.
That that is a bridge that I'm glad you covered. For me personally, after the Me Too movement, I cannot believe that Mickey Rourke does not know that unwanted sexual advances on somebody half his age is not okay. I just can't believe it. So I don't think that his
It
behavior
wasn't
is going to
sexual
change.
advances, it was just inappropriate dialogue to
Okay.
somebody. I mean, he didn't touch her.
Yeah, but still, the words were there. I'm going to make you straight. What? No, sir. No, you're not. Sorry.
They're
That's
not great words
unwarranted.
to say, and I think JoJo Siwa can handle it, but I think it's a larger conversation that we're talking about, and I don't think we should cancel him and get him off the show immediately, because then no one learns.
Okay.
And yeah, I
He
just
gonna
think
learn today.
we'll learn today. Oh my
Hopefully.
God.
Hopefully he learns today.
There is a Japanese bar district that I can't believe they're doing this, because we've, as a LGBTQ community, have been doing this forever, but they're getting bilingual wristbands to gauge revelers' mood. What do I mean by that? 6 color-coded wristbands help drinkers start or avoid conversations in a neighborhood in Japan at certain pubs, and they're basically the things that have been going on in gay bars over the years. And they say 6, but really they're 3. And they're the signs of the stop sign. It's red, yellow, and green. Red, green meaning just looking to, you would put this wristband on you, and it says just looking to have fun. A yellow one would mean I would love to learn more, and a red one would be just enjoying a drink, not into anything more than that. And I just got off of the Vakaya cruise where they've done dog tags before, where you put those same colors on your. I was greeting people where it was in New Orleans, and we had beads, and they were the same colors. And I had to tell people, grab your beads. And some people wanted more than one, but we had to limit them to one. And I was going back and forth on which color am I going to put on for the week. But green
Hey.
meant, yeah, I mean, green meant I'm ready to mingle. Yellow meant I'm somewhere in between figuring it out. And red meant that I'm taken, or I'm just not available to hook up,
Yeah.
basically. We've been doing that for years, and I love that this Japanese bar somehow picked up. Did they come to one of our bars, Kodi? And
They're
secondly, what do you
spying
think
on
of,
us.
yeah. And secondly, do you think this would be, I think us as gays really don't need that in general. I think it's really cute and fun for gay cruises or events with LGBTQ people. But in general, don't you think we're fine when we go out and about? Like we kind of know how to do it and mingle. But do you think it's kind of good maybe for our counterparts, the heterosexual community, like this Japanese bar is implementing?
Well, sometimes we don't know. I've had plenty of people that I've told no to that kept going and kept going and kept going. But I think the wristband would have helped in that situation. But I do think that this is helpful. I think that it's something, especially when you're in a certain type of situation. I think that the wristbands can help. I think that I've been to parties where they give you like those glowy necklaces, the glow stick
Sure.
necklaces. They're fantastic. And then there's no questions. You can kind of just breeze right into a situation. And I think that it's good. I love that they're doing it. And I'm glad that, sometimes the straights don't get it right, but it seems like they're getting it right in this situation.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a fun concept. I think that it could work well. I think it's fun when I'm in these LGBTQ spaces. It's a topic of conversation. I don't know that we really need it necessarily in our LGBTQ spaces, but I think it could be good perhaps for straight spaces, for women in general to
Oh,
go to
yes,
spaces
definitely.
like that. Yeah, I think it could be kind of good to leave certain women alone, to go up to them if, but I've also talked on with one of our special guests, Will Tantra, and the red can be a little bit
Jarring.
abrupt and jarring. And because while you might be with somebody, it doesn't mean that, because often that's what it really means, but it doesn't mean that I'm not open to discussion. And I think red is a halting color and
Mhm.
an alarming color and red lobster color. And I don't want all that.
I love Red Lobster. Yeah,
Oh, I
I
know,
definitely
but
we can go sometime. Times
no,
Square.
thank you.
No, no, I hear
No,
what you're saying,
when
and I think that that is definitely the case. I think that when you put on something red, it's like definitive. And I have been in situations where I have maybe thought that I was in a red space, quote unquote, and then I didn't have anything red on to delineate that I was actually a red person, that for you to stop in order before you talk to me. And then I got in a situation and I was talking with people and I was getting to know them and I actually had a lot of fun. So I agree with you that red can be a little bit jarring and maybe you should think about it before you put the red on. But I think that it's just mainly to let people know that you got a man and don't try and F me. Fuck.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Third fuck of the night.
yeah, I think it's fun that this Japanese bar is doing this. I think it could work for straight bars and for our women, but I, yeah, I don't need all that, and it's ruining my outfit when I go out. So that's where I stand on that.
Girl, yeah, I love it when they have the top, bottom, and versatile ones. Girl, those are I get in a lot of trouble at those parties.
I bet you do.
I do, honey.
This would be a really great time to tell you about our Patreon tags community where you can join for free, or you can go over and grab a free tier or grab a tier. You can also purchase individual posts. And right now we have a bonus episode that came out last week, stuff that you will not hear on the regular podcast. And we encourage you to go over there because when you do, you support the show you've known to come and love. And how you do that is to go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And I am in the works right now developing a whole new tier. It's going to be really exciting. It's erotic. It's really going to be fun. And I invite you to just grab a free tier if you're just kind of considering it, because you do get behind the scenes content that you won't get anywhere else. So go to patreon.com/tags podcast. Oh my gosh. And let's move on. What is anybody saying on our, because we are live and we love to shout out to liveness.
George says a red jock means you're experienced and mature. And I love that. Hey.
Let's stay on experience because right now there is a trend with risky exhibitionism, which is on the rise with certain creators. What do I mean by that? Certain guys are getting off on the thrill of getting caught. And there's definitely something about hooking up in public, but there's been a lot of people posting risky exhibitionists and at retail stores, at train stations. We all know those videos where people at, I don't know what time of day it is, it seems late night, in college dorms where their roommate is studying and they're like jacking off behind them, in the nightclub where the club is going on and somebody is getting pounded, in the grocery store even is another
Girl.
one.
No, man.
Is risky exhibitionism becoming a whole thing? I can't. I don't want to get arrested right now. It's like with ice and everything, and my brown skin, forget it.
Oh, why did you just do that to me? You just ruined my whole. I was here getting hot below the waist, and
I'm
you
sorry.
just
I can't. I can't.
ruined it for me. Oh man, let's next topic. I can't. No,
I had to.
I am here for this. Now I have to worry about being brown and ice. Thank you very much, Steve. But I am here for the public sex. I'm here. I'm an exhibitionist. I love when people watch me have sex with somebody else. It is just something that is so enticing to me. So I am here for this trend. I am not checking off in the library. I'm not checking off in the grocery store. But if we're in a club or if we're on an airplane, I will fuck you in the bathroom. I will have an under a blanket jack off session. I will do it all. Please come and talk to me. DM me if you want to have these experiences because I am here for it. And I don't know if you watched all of the GIFs that were there. That last guy, I need to know who he is. So somebody please do your research. Gay Mafia, do all of your investigations so you can let me know who he is because I need to know his name.
It's to reference what Kodi's talking about. I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com. But I will say, yeah, I think my days of that riskiness are over. Yeah. I mean, the plane, forget it. You heard many of my episodes talk about Nat Geo and the smugglers and all that going on. I'm just so paranoid about that. I had a
smugglers.
Dream. Yeah, that's a whole show on Nat Geo. And I just had a whole dream last night about, I don't know, it was somehow I lived in some country, but I didn't want to come back to America because my car was being like impounded and they knew exactly where I live. I don't know. I'm just too panicked about that kind of stuff. No, I just can't. It's all maybe what's going on. I am currently having hot sex, having really good sex, but it's not risky sex and out in public like that. It's not in my ethosphere right now. I can't. But I'm here for it. And I think it's really hot for those content creators that are doing that. But
I'll record it and
I just think I'm just not in that risky phase right now. And I have not suitable for work content out there, but it's just not that. Sorry if you're looking for that. I think it's hot too, but not what you're going to see on mine. Just, yeah, not right now. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on. There was a recent story that talked about how I came to love bottoming later in life. It's written by David Toussaint. And what I really liked about this article, worth putting on TAGSPodcast.com, is he always felt like he was a top and he really never felt like he wanted to bottom. And when he did try and bottom, it didn't work for him. And he met a guy that he wanted to bottom on one Saturday night. The guy actually was really huge. He had a shower system that the guy could clean out in. And he really enjoyed it. And it changed. He's a guy of a certain age. He's probably like my age, the author of this article. And he says, I don't think I've ever been a pure top, but I've become so accustomed to it and good at it that the thought of being on the bottom has often felt demeaning, which makes no logical sense because I love men who embrace their submissive side, just not when it's me. And he said, yeah, call me a top snob. And now that he's done it, I have always been in the position of being the opposite, of being more of a bottom. And more recently, I've switched it up and been more of a top. And I love now that I'm versatile because it's my sexual experiences don't put me in one category anymore. I love that. I don't have to just be one side or anymore. It's blown my mind up in so many beautiful ways that I am not committed or people are putting me in that one box anymore. I can do either one at any time. And I think this article really does a really good job of explaining that, yeah, I may have been associated with one side for so long, but until I experience the right person, I think it's great. What do you say
Yeah.
about it?
I am definitely a, oh, man, I hate to admit this on this podcast, but I'm definitely a top snob. I feel like it fits my nature a little bit more to be more aggressive or dominating in the bedroom. But I do see what he's saying because I have bottomed before, but it was in a relationship. And I do think that if the case fit in a future relationship, then I would be able to do it again. But as far as, and I love that this person got to experience being able to accept that part of themselves. But for me personally, I don't know if it's going to happen again because I'm really, really comfortable it being a dominating force in the bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, that's your truth. And I think no, I mean, I can't argue with that. For
And I know
me,
I'm a blouse, but still.
it's been so enlightening to be able to, I can do both now. And it just opens up the doors for all of my sexual freedom. And I never thought that that could be. And it's really, I love it. I love that I'm not put into one category at all. Like I can do both. And it just opened up so many more possibilities.
Yeah, a
Did
thought
you have
just
a
occurred to
question?
me. A
Yeah.
thought just occurred to me, and it might be partially because I feel like I lose top credibility if I bottom for somebody else.
Well,
Does
see,
that make sense?
that's where
And
you're
we're being
getting
honest and
into.
real here.
Yeah, and I think that's where you're getting into the mentality of it all. We're not I think what's brilliant about like what this guy is really opening up about is that he had been put into a box. He thought he was like that top energy,
Mhm.
and somebody came along the way that really like shook him up. And he talks about the feminizing of bottoming and the masculinity of top. And I think I've lost all those labels and I just
Mhm.
enjoy sex now. And depending on who I'm having sex with, I think if you're putting those labels on like top energy, or then you should look at that a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely should. And because like I said, I've bottomed before. I didn't actually really enjoy it, but maybe there's the right person out there that will be able to help me enjoy it better. So, I'm open to exploring. I've always said that I've been open to exploring, but the mood more than likely strikes me to be more of a top than to bottom. So, there we go. And I'm with my truth. And now that this revelation has happened, I'm going to explore life a little bit more. So look forward to those stories, people.
Elvin Ailey, Revelations. Come on
Hey.
now. Let's stay on topic with some advice. And we love to give advice on this show. And you can always ask us. We'll give our handles at the end of the show, or you can go to TAGSPodcast.com. And you can always ask us for sex or relationship advice. We are here for you. This one relates to just what we were talking about. And they wrote on a Reddit recent thread, bottomed for the first time, but not sure it was pleasurable. I was always a top, but I fantasized for a long time what it would be like to be fucked. I used to picture it in my mind, and I guess I had imagined that it would feel like the pleasure associated with it. Also, just observing previous partners and how they react when they bottom for me. I finally found somebody I trusted to try it. He had a nice average size penis, his words.
That's the way
It
to
was
go.
about 5 to 6 inches and not too girthy. He started off with rimming, but I wouldn't say I was getting pleasure from it. It was no different than if he was licking my skin. He swapped between fingering and rimming me to get me loosened up. After he was able to get 2 fingers inside with lots of lube and massaged my prostate, I also wouldn't say it was super pleasurable. He then switched to his cock. I didn't struggle too much to receive it. I could feel it going in and out, but I just wasn't feeling any sort of pleasure sensation. And it was just kind of
Mm,
happening. When he was thrusting, I could feel his dick hitting my interior wall, but it was uncomfortable. I think the only pleasure I got from the experience was mental. Not sure if my expectations were set too high or I'm just missing certain nerves that other bottoms have. The one weird thing is my nipples are extremely wired for some reason. And I can sometimes come hands free with just having my nipples massaged. Wonder if that's where all my nerves went. Should I give it another go? Does it get more physically pleasurable in time? And the one thing I would give advice to on this is I love that his nipples are pleasurable, and I want him to maybe incorporate that into the next time he bottoms, because mine are have become over time. So to use his example, my nipples were never really wired but became over time.
yeah.
So I think his ass can become wired. I think his lengthy statement that he wrote in to Reddit is so heady. In other words, he's so in his head. And
Hmm.
I imagine that's how he was when he was getting pounded. He was so in his head. And when you're too much in your head and you're not enjoying the moment, you are not experiencing the pleasures that you can have. And so, what I would say to him is yes, try it again. Yes, be open to it. Yes, be open to having a combination of and telling them, like, take some time back there, touch my nipples, work, like, direct a little bit. You can be a
Yeah.
bossy bottom and direct how you like it. And that's why I really go back to the last statement is I know what it's like to be a really good bottom. I know what it's like to be a really good top. I now bring all of this stuff in my
Better work.
50s to both of it. And it's like, I love it. I feel like I'm 50 and what's her name?
Harry Bradshaw, 50 and Fabulous.
SNL 50. I'm 50 and Molly Shannon.
Okay,
Anyways,
there we go.
yeah, the skit that I love so much. And I just think it's enlightening and I love it. What do you say?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that he probably was in his head the entire time. I think next time, take your time. Find what it is cuz he said he was getting his ass ate and he wasn't feeling any pleasure, and I don't understand it. I can't. I love to get my ass ate. It is fantastic. So I think that he should take his time, really try and get out of your head and feel the sensations that are going on with your body. And like you said, direct and make sure that you are letting your partner know what feels good, when it feels good, how it feels good. So I think that if he tries it again, be more in depth with how things can go in a more pleasurable direction and just let go. Because I feel like you said, he was too much in his head.
Yeah, as many of us can be in our head. I've been in my head before and it's ruined the whole situation.
Yeah,
And
me too.
so, no, I relate 100% that the minute you become in your mindset, and sex is really, it's mine, but it's also being present and it's
Hmm.
sensual and it's touch and it's connection. And if you I've so been there before and ruined a situation, and I realize that, and I get it, and it's an easy thing to do. So yeah, that's probably our biggest advice, is to just be in the moment and enjoy
Hmm.
and see what comes out of it. But no stranger to being in my head, not the
Me
right
too.
head. Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, before we get into our favorite segment, which is produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, and we're asking out of these porn stars who took the best photo. I put it for those of you watching live there so you can start voting. But one of the things that I wanted to just quickly point out, we've talked about him so much, is George Santos. And I don't really want to talk about George Santos, but basically he
Hi,
is
girl.
will be in court at the end of this month, and prosecutors are seeking a 7-year prison sentence
Put
because
him with
he,
Diddy.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's, we'll see. Everybody gets their day in court, but they're calling him a pathological liar and a fraudster, a mockery of our election system, and they're seeking 7 years. We will see when all this goes down on April 25th in Eastern District, New York. And because we've been talking about him all of last year, I feel we need to follow up and see what happens in this particular case. But moving on to something a little bit more fun is our favorite straight up gay porn, asking the question, thirst trap recap, which of these 13 gay porn stars took the best photo of the week? And it's our job on an audio podcast to vividly describe on an audio podcast why we picked the one. And Kodi, when you first go to the laying, I am all for the 3 top photos that he chose to put in there because I'm a huge fan of feet and I love good feet and holes, and they all have their holes up open and their feet in the air, and I love that, which I think is so hot. Would you have somebody you picked? First off,
Oh,
I
yes.
love that my fiance immediately voted for Wade Hater Boy. Is that somebody in there, Kodi?
I don't know. Let's see. Wade Hater Boy. He is,
And
oh
why?
yeah. Wade Wolfgar.
Where is he?
Super hot. He is closer to the bottom. He's like fifth or sixth from the
Oh, I
bottom.
see him.
3, 4,
Okay, yeah, more
5. Yeah.
daddy-like. Yeah, that is
Oh
that why
yeah.
you like to call me daddy,
Oh my
Diego? You're like
goodness.
into those
Oh
daddies, eh?
wow.
But I like that he's commanding on this one, just to give you a little bit more why he may have picked that. Wade
Wolfgar.
Wolfgar
Yeah.
is sitting, it looks like in a leather chair. The lighting is really awesome. He is bald, but has a really great goatee, great hair on his chest. He has great legs right in our face, and a huge dick that he's grabbing. You know, when you grab your dick with your hand and you grab it at the base and you still have several inches to go,
Hey girl.
that's how he's grabbing it. And I'm here
Oh, I
for it.
definitely know.
So, yeah, okay. Who do you pick and why?
I pick only Kodi. Maybe because his name is Kodi, but he's also very super hot. He's on a bed. He's one of the ones that has his feet in the air and his hole
Oh, yeah.
showing. He's got his tongue out. He's got that beautiful hole showing, and he knows how to take a dick. So he gets my vote this week because I looked at his Twitter, and it was very enlightening. I'm probably gonna go jack off to it right after this. Who do you pick, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I love all the ones that have their feet in the air. The Lucas Moreno, who also has his feet in the air, showing his
Gorgeous.
hole and a huge
He's my
cock.
second pick.
Yours only, Kodi, showing his beautiful hole. I mean, I think we need to start embracing like the beauty of the actual asshole because it's it can be really hot and puckered up. Strangely enough, I vote for Chris Wade, and it's Chris Chriss Wade. I went to he's got this huge cock, and he tends to jack off with these toys, like either it's a pussy or an ass, and he comes a lot and it's drenched in cum. And I went to his Twitter account and at Chris Wade, and he's just sloppy, but I kind of here for it. Anyways, you got to watch it. I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com. I know it's like You never know who you're really into at that moment,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh, so much fun. We want to thank our virtual audience for joining us and for weighing in. We want you to weigh in as well. And you can follow us on IG. Follow Kodi at Mr. Maurice on Instagram, but also follow him on his Blue Sky account at the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Stevie, or go to my Twitter or X account or Blue Sky account, same at Tags Podcast. Go to tagspodcast.com for show notes. Thanks, virtual audience. We are back with 2 shows next week, and go to our Patreon for behind the scenes content. And Kodi, in the meantime, continue having hot gay
gay sex.
I love the way you said